Hi, Sophie.
Hi.
Welcome to the PLT podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I feel like we've been needing to do this for ages.
I watched so many of your podcasts. And I'm
Have
just
you?
Like, yeah, like the one with Daisy and Ellie.
Yes.
When you rang Joss.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh God,
Oh
this
my
is
God,
hilarious.
doing the boyfriend calls.
Yeah.
They were so funny.
I watched them and I'm like, that's going to be me one day.
They're going to be me one day. Babes, we've been trying to get you in for ages. You're finally here. And I'm really excited about today's episode because you hold such a strong message to our listeners. And I think, you know, you've been through a traumatic incident, which we're going to get onto a little bit later on. But you haven't let that hold you back or stop you from pursuing your dreams at all, which is incredible. So I want to start at the beginning. Your dancing has kind of taken you around the world.
It's been crazy, you know, because
It's
I
been
think
crazy.
obviously when you're in that industry, it's so saturated as it is, you have to be different. And because I was given such a big opportunity, I performed in Chicago when this first happened, and it was the first time I kind of went abroad, and it was such an honour because it was a charity event, and I thought I'm just doing something giving back. To be able to have those experiences with a job, like you go everywhere, and it's just so, it doesn't feel like a job.
It's
just so amazing.
You love it so much as well. But you're originally from Manchester, aren't you?
Yes.
To anyone that doesn't know, big up Manchester.
0161.
0161 money on the map. We have to
money on
say
the
it.
map.
But how was your childhood in Manchester? Did you have a normal childhood or?
So how weird is this? I'm originally from Lancashire.
Okay.
Like farms,
Wasn't ready for that.
farms and fields.
Really?
Yeah.
And then you came to Big Bag Man.
Yeah.
Bad. I was meant to say bad.
I mean, yeah, either, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think I've always felt like Manchester's just the buzzing, isn't it? Always something here. And I feel the people here everyone wants you to do well.
Yeah.
I've only been here for 3 years.
Have you?
Yeah, my
Good
mum's.
for you.
I know.
Wow, I didn't realise that.
My mum's originally from Moss Sideway though. She's like the real deal. Do you know what I mean? Like she's
proper Manchester.
Yeah, Manchester. And then she moved over to Darwin in Lancashire, and then I happened, and then I moved over back here, and that's when I met obviously your team, everyone here, and it's just been crazy.
And what was your dream when you were growing up? What did you want to be? What was your dream job? Was it to be a performer and dancer?
Yeah, I've danced since I was 2.
Have you?
So
that's why he's so good.
Oh, thank you. My grandma I feel like our family's very theatrical anyway.
Yeah.
I think our personalities are all very theatrical without having any kind of influence. We're all very out there, and we're all very supportive. Like my family's come from a very supportive background where, as much as my parents wanted me to do well academically, they always knew that I was very more like I said, theatrical, creative, performance, and a bit more dramatic.
Yeah,
so
I can definitely relate to that one.
So I'm just so grateful that they support everything I do.
Yeah.
Whether it's been dancing, singing, fire breathing, they've always supported me. And even since this accident, they've always supported everything that I've done. So I think that's one of the key parts of staying so strong, having a good foundation of people behind you.
Yeah. And fast forward to that event, so the Chicago, you spoke about the event, which is where you were dancing and fire breathing at this huge event when the completely unimaginable happened.
Yeah, it was a freak accident. And obviously I can't exactly pinpoint exactly what happened because it happened to me, you know. So as much as I recollect, it's from the ventilation system, the wind blowing the fire back to me and then set me on fire. So I was basically on fire for I would say 20, 30 seconds before it all went out. And that moment really gave me a very cold understanding of life, because everything got taken away from me in that moment, in that split second, that life is so fickle. You can be here 1 minute and the next minute everything can be taken away from you. And I think what it's taught me is if I didn't survive that incident, would I be happy with the person that I was? Would I be happy with what I've left behind or the impact that I've left behind? And my answer would have been no. I don't get me wrong, I was always nice, I've never been mean. It's just I've never been able to have that opportunity to go out there and hands-on help people. And now that I do, it's so much more rewarding. And hands on my heart, I think that I'm just so grateful that if anything this happened to me, because it made me such a better person for not me but everyone around me.
And when it did, obviously it's taken you a long time to get to where you are now, but when it did first happen to you, you spent a lot of time in hospital on your own, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever think then that you would come out of it at this end and say those things? Because they're really strong words to say that, you know, I'm glad it happened to me. That's, you know, overwhelming to hear.
Yeah, when it first happened, I was shattered. Like, from the inside out, I was absolutely devastated because I lost everything. Like my job, and then next thing you know, when you lose your job, your income, how are you going to pay your bills? How are you going to do anything? But then obviously the main factor was my health. I woke up and I was attached to a machine to help me breathe. I couldn't see because I was so swollen. I couldn't, obviously my airways swollen, so I couldn't breathe then. And all your basic life needs are taken away from you, and you're just led there with your own thoughts. And that to me gave me a lot of, don't get me wrong, I pitied myself a bit because that was like so sad. But then after it, I thought, this is my life now. So I'm either going to have to accept it for what it is and build from it, or I'm going to have to, it's going to crush me. And I'm going to have to just live with so much sadness. And I wouldn't say regret, because I don't ever regret anything I do, but it would be something that would be something that dwell on my mind, and I don't want that. So after a week or so, I was in hospital originally for a month in America on my own. So after a week, I just thought, this is going to be my life, and how can I make this my life? Because I do believe that happiness is a choice. You either give it to yourself, or you let yourself carry on kind of loathing a situation. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to use this to help so many other people that don't have a voice. And through that, it has made me so strong, because I didn't even know that by doing that, it helped me in a way to recover from the trauma, because I got to speak to a lot more people in my situation, which have gone through trauma, in a way, like kind of rehabilitation unknowingly, because I was doing something good. And for me, doing something good to help others is what makes me happy. Like, that's what gives me joy in life. I love helping people and seeing other people happy, and seeing other people be able to overcome some of their insecurities or fears is, I think, one of the main goals and achievements you can't buy. It's just a feeling.
And your family went with you for that whole month, is that correct?
Yeah, I just said I can't see anyone. My friends wanted to fly out to me. A lot of my friends were like, we need to get on a plane, we need to go see it. And I just thought, I can't see anyone, because you're going to be sat there crying, I'm going to be sat there crying. I can't really do anything for myself. And it's just going to be everyone just, I'm not strong enough to face that. You know, because I feel like my whole life, even when I was younger, I always, because of my ethnicity, I was bullied quite a bit, and always made to feel like I was the outsider. So I've dealt with a lot of things on my own, and I thought, this is another obstacle I need to do on my own. And through doing it on my own, I think it's been the best thing for me, because it means I can be strong for those around me.
I can see, like, now, like, you know, I've known you for a while now, and I know how strong you are as a person, but even just hearing that you didn't have your family there with you for a whole month, you're on the other side of the world, I can't, you know.
It's crazy, isn't it? You think, usually people are like, why would you be on your own?
Did you speak to, like, your parents when you were, like, your mum?
I spoke to my family, my friends every day, and let them know and updated them. But in terms of facing people, I'm quite reserved when it comes to showing emotion, because I like to be the happy face. I like to be the strong character and help others. And when I'm a bit vulnerable, I do that. That kind of shut off and kind of go through it by myself. So I think even with a lot of moving forward, like my operations and things like that, I've done it all alone.
Yeah, I've noticed that, and that's something like I want to go on to. But talking on your scars from the accident, so when the incident happened, you had burn scars, and then from there it developed into keloid scars. I hope I'm pronouncing that right.
Yes.
Yeah. So, did the doctors tell you that would happen? Were you expecting that?
Nothing. I had no clue what was happening. The doctors, if anything, so I'm a case study. That's how rare this kind of situation has been. And a keloid is actually a form of tumour. It's benign, so it's not cancerous. But the way that a tumour behaves is that because there's a blood supply to that tumour, it'll carry on growing.
Right, okay.
And so that's why mine grew at a rapid rate. And this time last year, I couldn't even move parts of my face, because it literally was eating my face, like overgrowing. And so with my ethnicity as well, a lot more occurrence in pigmented skin as well. Keloids are very angry and very predominant. So surgeons had to talk to a lot of other surgeons around the world to decide what was happening and what to do. So even I didn't know what was going on, and they didn't know what to do. Because when you cut a tumour, it can grow back worse, or a keloid, it can grow back worse. And a lot of the times they didn't want to do that for one, health issues, because there'd be a lot of blood loss from where it is and the size that it is. So I'm currently a case study for a new medical science called cryosurgery, which freezes the keloid to -100 and kills all the cells in the keloid.
So even through that, through the case study, you're actually doing good for people as well, because hopefully if that...
It'll change medical science in a way, yeah.
You've gone straight back into performing and dancing after the accident as well, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, so I'm still very... Don't get me wrong, I'm not as intense. I don't do fire anymore, none of that. But performing and things like that, I think when I wasn't in surgery and I was feeling a lot better, then I was very lucky that I worked with a company that allowed me to be me and accepted me for who I was and what I look like, because I've been so used to an industry that is based on your height, your weight, your looks, everything. They matter. First thing that you put down on your sheet of paper when you go to an audition is what's your height, what's your weight. That, I think, I became very blinded to how actually emotionally damaging that is and mentally damaging it is for not just me, but everyone that, goes through that process.
Goes through that, yeah. To look at it that way.
Of course, because you always start doubting yourself that you're not good enough because you're not a weight or because you're not this.
But so this company let you,
be me.
Come in and be yourself, which is incredible. And are you still dancing now?
So at the moment, no. I'm more going down the route of motivational speaking and helping young girls and young men and even mums. Mums and dads message me, and I think that's really rewarding that mums and dad message you saying, I'm very happy that my daughter watches, people like you on social media, or I've had mums where they've been like, I've made sure my daughter's seen you because I feel like they want to, because it is very big, the wide web, so parents these days, they do want to make sure the kids are safe and what they're seeing is, good for them. And it's so much more rewarding when you get parents saying that.
And your message is beauty is only skin deep, which I think is a message that everyone should take on.
Of course. And I think the message can be controversial because when people see me, they're like, well, you've got fake nails, you've got makeup on, you've got this. It's not that. It's so much deeper. That just shows how kind of negligent you are to the message because you're not looking deeper within the message. It's more about you can have all that makes you feel confident outside, but when you take all the makeup off, fancy shoes, fancy handbags off, who are you inside? And what kind of person are you to the outside world?
And you shared a video recently on your Instagram following your it's just before your surgery actually, your recent surgery, it was very personal, going through what the process was going to be, and I mean it was really, really personal, raw. What made you decide to share that on your social media?
I shared that 6 months later than when it happened, and
really,
that was the first surgery. That was literally in March. We filmed that. That was just as I was going to go to surgery, and it's taken me 6 months to really think, do I want this? Because it's so different to what is expected of my post, which is quite lighthearted, quite some glam, some not, but this was raw emotion, real real life. At the end of the day, there's always a risk that comes with surgery, and especially because this surgery is very rare and unknown, to the extent that I had it, I was absolutely petrified, and I think showing that vulnerability was a big thing for me, and I think even it is for anyone on social media when you're used to being a strong character, being, someone people looked up to, for you to be the vulnerable one when you're open to so many trolls. Like I've had it bad. Like,
have you?
Yeah, trolling. there's people that say you should have died in the fire. They'll say like, well, what do you expect if you play with fire? You're gonna get burnt. If anything, like, you know, you don't deserve to be here.
I actually didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's horrific.
Yeah. It was such a hard pill to swallow because in a way, yeah, I get it. It was self-inflicted because it's my job, but I can't physically see why or emotionally grasp why someone would say things like that. It's so horrible. And these people would be literally, you'd get older women, you'd get girls my age, or you'd get sometimes men. Or you'd get women being like, well, look at you now, you're just overcompensating because you've got a scar, and look at you dressed like you're dressing cheap and tacky. And yeah.
So you still face that kind of comment today?
Yeah. To this day.
But this is people that just don't know you, Sophie, and I think that's one reason why what you do on social media and how open you are and talking about everything that you've been through is so important.
Of course.
Because if then people knew, they obviously don't know, they're obviously looking surface level.
Yeah. Like, even, this is personal, but I didn't date anyone for a whole year. Nothing. Like, I didn't speak to anyone, nothing, because that year for me was so personal for my own growth. And then for women to say to me, you wear this for the sexualization of yourself for men and for the approval of men just because you've got a scar. It was literally people saying, you are overdoing things now because you've lost part of your face. And that was what made me think, wow. I feel like this time period needs this message more than ever. Because if we're thinking like that, it's going to be horrible in a few years.
Yeah, it really is. And I think your self-confidence is incredible. It's absolutely amazing. And I think you can be a huge inspiration to so many young girls out there. And there's so many young people, not just girls and guys, everyone, struggling with their self-image.
Yeah.
So what would you say to anyone that is just generally struggling with their own self-image?
I struggled a lot at the start. And you know what? It is something that no one, no matter how much they compliment you, can take that away from you. So I would say, whatever you struggle with that is an insecurity, work on that insecurity. If it's something that you can maybe not change altogether, but change your mindset on how you think of it and accept it for what it is, and kind of rejoice it. Like, you know, be proud of the woman and the man that you are. You're amazing. To get up every single day and face the world, that is an achievement in itself. And I always say, you know, you can overcome tiniest obstacle, but give yourself credit. You're doing the best you can do. And I think we give ourselves such a hard time because good isn't good enough anymore. You've got to be absolutely doing the most for it to be just an inkling of good. Whereas you putting food on the table and having a roof over your head and being able to get up to go to work every single day is a damn good job. And I take my hat off to anyone who has the confidence to go and face the world. Yeah. Because there's people out there that can't, and those are the people that I want to help and I want to reach out to. Because you can, you are amazing. Party about it, like you are you. Celebrate you.
Celebrate life.
Yeah.
And have you had loads of people sort of message you since, you know, the incident, and since, you know, recently when you have been talking about your surgeries on social media, have you had a lot of people in similar situations message you and ask for advice or, you know, talk to you about it?
Do you know some messages that I get that I didn't think that I would have come from like post-traumatic stress. Right. So like people that have come from, maybe they've just had a baby, or mums and young mums, or even young girls that are going through their teenage, obviously high school stage, and they reach out to me, and I think it takes a lot of guts to know when you need a little bit of help and you're vulnerable. Because a lot of people don't like vulnerability. They think it's a weakness and they cover it a lot. So I have had a lot of messages, and sometimes even from men saying that just seeing your profile has made me really understand the person that I want to be, not the person that I have to be. One message that's really touched me was, I was speaking to a young boy, and he wanted to transition, but he couldn't put himself in front of his parents or in front of his peers to make that change.
Yeah, make that step.
Yeah, and I said to him, you need to do this when you are ready, not when you think everyone wants you to be ready, because No one's ever going to be ready for you. The world moves on, whereas you need to be happy to move on too. And you can't live in a world where you're just sad.
Yeah.
That was something for me that really brought it back down to earth, that this is changing people's lives and not just me posting
Which
on
is
my
an
Instagram.
incredible thing that you should be really, really proud of.
Thank you.
And you were also part of Glamour UK's Blend Out Bullying campaign. Was that last year or earlier this year? Tell me about that. How was that for you?
That was absolutely extraordinary to be given that platform and opportunity, even to be here today talking to you, to so many people listening. And I just think it's such a huge honour, really, because I remember I was growing up and I used to read Glamour, and I used to be like, oh my god, like, look at all these girls, and I'd read like the Agni Ant section,
definitely,
and then straight onto the horoscopes. You know what I mean?
That's where I'd be found,
like,
for sure.
Yeah. And I just thought, never in a million years this would happen to Sophie Lee from the End.
The End.
I just thought, wow, how crazy.
And something you spoke about in that campaign, and you touched on it earlier, was the racial bullying that you've experienced, which I, again, wasn't aware of.
Yeah.
That must have been so difficult when you were younger. Do you still face those kind of remarks and comments now?
It's so crazy. I do. In this day and age.
In this day and age.
Yeah. And especially with the message that I project, I wouldn't ever think that people still be so like harsh and mean and really nasty. And it tore me up, because when I was younger, I was embarrassed of my ethnicity, I was embarrassed of my heritage, and I was embarrassed of everything that literally was my identity. I'd try and make my hair light brown, I'd try and be like, wear makeup that made my eyes look bigger, and I used to really have kind of an identity issue, because I wanted to be so westernized and I wanted to fit in, but I felt like I didn't know how to.
Yeah.
Because the more I tried, the more that I wasn't kind of accepted, because it was like, what are you doing, you know? Just be you. And growing up, I think I've realised that you're just so special just being yourself.
You are the most unique thing in the world, person in the world. But that's true. Like, you are, there's no other one of you, is there? Do you know what I mean?
That's what I mean.
That's such an important message.
And I think that's what everyone needs to know.
Yeah.
It's just so filtered nowadays to all be in the same bracket.
Yeah.
When really standing out is better than blending in. So take that leap, take that jump to do what you want to do. I was so petrified when I first went to high school, and I've always been a bit of a lone ranger. I've always been a bit of a I'll do what I want kind of a thing.
Yeah, I like that.
So I think that's where a lot of segregation comes from as well for me. Even though I still wanted to do what I was doing, I was an easy target because I was always on my own, or I was always doing my own thing. And it made me learn, though, that sometimes if your friends want to do one thing, it's not for you. You need to do what makes you happy.
Yeah. Which I think a lot of young people struggle with, don't they? When, you know, people feel like they need to fit into certain things.
To be part of the group, to be included. When you make your own message, that's exactly how it's helped with me, because I don't know anyone with a keloid scar. I don't know anyone who's at the start I had a facial deformity. It really deformed my face, and for me it was really hard to accept in a world where all my friends were dancers, models, performers, and
where you feel like image is everything as well, like you said earlier.
Of course, and
which it shouldn't be.
No, and it made me toughen up fast and grow up fast. I've got a little sister. She's 17, so she's at the prime of it.
Gosh, yeah.
You know, when you're like, no, I need to be this, I need to be more this, more that, more that. And I just say to her, you just need to be you.
And how does she handle it? Like, do you think she is handling being herself, or do you see what you went through with her? Or
she's a bit of a tomboy. She does what she wants. Yeah.
Good girl.
Yeah, she's very it's so crazy because my family, I think we've raised my mum and everyone in my family, my aunties, were all very strong women. We're all very opinionated, very comfortable in ourselves with what we want. I love that. And we've always been made to believe that we can do anything we want, and that the love will always be at home. So no matter what you do, you'll always have people there to support you. Yeah. And I think that's why with my sister and everyone who's like my cousins, this, that and the other, they've all done their own thing. We're all different. So I really do think that you just have to believe in yourself and believe that anything you do is good enough as long as you put your heart and soul in it.
With everything you've been doing, you know, you've been working with Glamour, obviously you work with us quite a lot. How have you seen, and lots of other people, I'm not just shutting it down to us because I know that you're a busy girl, but
you guys have supported me from day one though. You've known me, I think you guys knew me like before my accident. Yeah. Mad. So I feel like you've been on this journey with me, and I feel like you've, it's so cliche, but see me grow from a girl to a woman.
No, but we have, and that is so lovely. It is so nice to obviously to work with you. And I remember the first time I met you, I was so excited to meet you. I think where were we? Foodwell.
Yeah.
Foodwell. Is that gym thing we did?
Yeah. I remember.
It wasn't us, but I bumped into you and I was like, I've been wanting to meet you for ages because at every PLT event I'd missed you. I'd just not been at that one.
I know, and
so I'd always missed you.
I feel like you guys have been so supportive, and
so
you've
nice
always, whatever situation I've been in, you've always been there to support me, and you guys just as a company have been so good.
That's so nice to hear. I hope everyone hears that, and I'll let them know back in the office.
Everyone hear that?
Everyone hear that. If you better be listening. But how have you seen, if you have, the sort of beauty industry and the fashion industry change in the past year or couple of years?
Drastically, hasn't it? It's been, and I think for the better.
In terms of like diversity.
Yeah, for the better. I think it's just changed in a world where you can be whoever the hell you want to be. And we will rejoice that. We will celebrate that. And I think that is something that needed to happen. It's something I think that has been a bit of a taboo subject where companies have thought, oh, if we change up a bit, is it going to lose customers? Or is it, if we go this route, is it going to kind of tarnish our brand or something? But I think everyone's really adapted, and everyone stood as one in terms of women, men, wearing what the hell they want.
Yeah.
And being who they want. And even now, I think I don't specifically put a category of fashion to a person or a gender.
No.
Because anyone can wear anything.
What more would you like to see? Is there anything that you like, representation-wise, or just in the fashion and beauty industry? Is there anything more you'd like to see happen in 2020 and you know, onwards?
I don't know, you know, because I think I've been very much in my own lane. So I don't really like to pinpoint things where, oh, they're doing the same as them, or they're doing the same as this, or they're doing a bit different. I think everyone has their own style. Every company's had their own style. Like, you guys are so, you know, you can spot you guys from a mile off. Like, I know your style from a mile off.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
If it's pink and unicorns, it's us.
Yeah, we know. And even with the way that you support your influencers, models, you support us in a way where it's full of love. It's not forced. So sometimes I think campaigns can look a bit forced. Or sometimes image itself can be forced. Whereas, you know, when you actually embrace a lot of diversity and you celebrate it, it's a whole different vibe.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're doing a lot more of now. Everyone's just celebrating each other, which is really good. Like Pride.
Yeah.
That to me, I was like crying because I was so happy.
Really?
Yeah. I think it was just seeing people who've gone through hardship, like people who've transitioned, or people who've always felt like they're different. Even though I may not know that hardship, I know how it feels to feel different. So I can relate to a certain extent, and to see everyone be able to be comfortable in their own skin, it just made me so happy that I was just like crying.
I wish I was there. I remember all the pictures. You looked fantastic.
I loved it. And it was just such a good day where people could just be them. And that was good enough.
Yeah.
Because you are here.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need to be a certain anyone. Everyone is equal.
And in the last year or along your journey, who has inspired you as a person? Is there anyone that you've looked up to and that's really, really inspired you?
I would say I've took inspiration from a lot of diverse people, so men and women. One main person who, she's been in touch with me actually, Katie Piper.
Oh wow.
Has been in touch, and she's spoken to me, and I just think she's just such a good role model to look up to for kind of hope that tomorrow is a new day and tomorrow is a new chance to be even better than you are now. So she's definitely a person. And Monroe Birdgoff, she's amazing. I think that everything she stands for is just so strong and so relevant to moving forward and fair, I think. Also Felicity Hayward, she's really nice. I met her at the Glamour
At your shoot for the Blend Out Bullying campaign.
Yeah, the campaign. And that was when I first met her, and she's just she's a babe.
Like, she is. She's a doll.
Babe.
Love her.
Like, I was really scared to meet her, and I was like, but she's so amazing. So those three have been my main inspirations because they're just unapologetically themselves.
I love that. Mm-hmm. Like you.
Oh, thank you.
And with everything this journey has taught you, what more would you like to do with your voice going forward?
I say this quite often, and a lot of people think I'm crazy, but I'd like to change the world. It may not be the whole world, but if one person's world has been changed, then I've done my deed as a person and done better for the world. So I think I want to continue to help and give hope and motivate and inspire everyone.
And you had a very life-changing 2018 and 2019. Mm-hmm. But what is next for 2020? What's coming?
Oh, honey.
Oh, we're not ready.
Honey, this is the comeback.
I am ready. This is comeback year.
Yeah, I think 2018 for me was a lot of personal losses and gains. More losses because I had to deal with a lot of hurt.
Yeah.
And then 2019 was a lot of lessons on how to be the person I want to be. So 2020 I think is going to be me applying all those lessons and being the best woman that I can be for everyone.
I cannot wait to see 2020.
I'm excited for not just me, you as well.
As well, yeah, me, everyone, all of us.
I think it's going to be a really good year.
I'm really excited for you, Sophie. Honestly, today has been amazing. I'm so glad we finally got to sit down and talk.
Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for coming in. Honestly, it's been incredible.
I loved every minute, every second of it. And you're just so easy to talk to. It's been like a little girl's chat. So
this has been so relaxed that honestly, I could carry this on for hours. I mean, we probably will stay and talk for another however long. But
yeah, I feel like it's going to carry on, isn't it?
It is going to carry on. Sophie, it's been amazing. Thank you to everybody at home for listening. This has been PLT Behind Closed Doors with Sophie Lee. Now, before we do go, I feel like we should sign off with a little ASMR because I hear you're into it. Can we do it?
I mean, it's my little thing that I do before I go to sleep.
Let's try
I watch it. So they do like, and they'll do like,
oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Feeling that.
Or they'll just do little things like, hello.
Is that me you're looking for?
Hello. It's me.
Sophie, that was amazing. Thank you so much. You've been the best ever. And thank you to everyone for listening. If you have enjoyed Sophie's episode, make sure you subscribe and leave a review. Let us know what you've enjoyed about the episode.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you next week. Bye.